way. You no longer exist, you're no longer
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me today I have a special guest host, the Moon Knight himself, Skye Inc. Welcome, Skye Inc.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us here tonight on AfterMat, where we'll be talking about Elimination Chamber. We do, if you guys watched the Royal Rumble episode, you know why Delicia's not here. Like we said, we don't usually cover the Saudi pay-per-views because of their, treatment of women and all that kind of stuff. But, they're actually getting more progressive with allowing more women to fight and stuff. And they actually want to wear bodysuits. We'll get to that later on. But she did want us, I asked her, and she said she did want us to cover this because it was one of the official pay-per-views, not just a Saudi pay-per-view, but like the official roster pay-per-view. But more importantly, we have to congratulate Delicia and her husband, Joe. Delicia gave birth this past Friday, February 18th, to a healthy baby girl named Rose. So congratulations to Delicia and Joe for adding another member to the stable of the AfterMat family. So you guys will be seeing, I guess, Rose on WrestleMania. I think she'll be debuting Rose to the official AfterMat roster, maybe, making an entrance. So you should see her there. And we wish them the best as they come home from the hospital, either today or tomorrow, possibly. But it's good news to hear and all that, so I'm happy about that. Yes. And welcome to Big Time and Entertained. Thank you guys for joining us. Yep, it's great news to hear, and I'm really happy for them. And she was actually, the baby came early. They were expecting the baby at the end of the month, but it came early, and it's healthy and all that, so it's good to hear, and we'll see them at WrestleMania. But we must get the business at hand. Tonight we're talking about Elimination Chamber, the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. Without giving anything away, Skye, what did you think of the pay-per-view overall?
Overall, I feel it was mediocre. I wasn't too impressed with it, but they did what they set out to do, I guess, which is set up for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't really happy. I actually fell asleep like 3 or 4 times during the pay-per-view because it was so boring, in my opinion. But, usually I was happy to see certain things happen because usually the Saudis pay a lot of money to see certain things happen. And, like, we saw, like, The Fiend lose to Goldberg, I believe it was in the past, which, The Fiend was pretty much, like, building up to his height of his game and then just end up losing, like, and blowing all that steam and momentum to go to Goldberg at the Saudi show just for, like, the Saudi's sake. So I'm glad to see that kind of stuff didn't really happen, but we'll get to that in a second. Other than that, the pay-per-view was I think the match card was very well stacked, but it wasn't executed as well as I thought it could have been. Granted, there were some hiccups along the way, but other than that, it was pretty good. Let me know if the sound's okay, everybody in the chat, because I did adjust some of the sound. I had, I was saying, if you see the chat, it says me saying test 1,000 times in a row, because OBS, had some sort of weird, error, and, all my overlays got messed up, so I had to go manually do every single one again, so I got it pretty much identical to what I had it before, but I don't know if the sound is messed up anymore or not, so just let me know how the sound is going and all that kind of stuff on the chat. If anything is wrong with that, let me know now so I can fix it if it needs to be fixed. Alright. Getting on to the matches, I asked Skye if he was interested in any of the matches. He just said, just give me what you, just assign me 4. So I randomly assigned 4 matches to him and 4 matches to myself because there's 8 total matches. And in typical AfterMat fashion, all 4 of my matches came first and all 4 of Skye's matches came second. So go figure. That's what happened. Skye's a little low. Oh, but that's his mic. Okay. Yeah, because I have his audio coming in at 15 decibels. So, I mean, on my headset he sounds pretty good, but I think Skye, you're just a little bit low on your mic. That's it. That's what they're saying in the chat. All right. So the first match was a pre-show featuring Miz versus Rey Mysterio. As you guys know, I fast forward through most of the stuff, and I actually didn't even watch the promo package to this, so I don't know why this fight happened. But I did read a little bit about it. It's about Miz trying to get respect, and it's about time, man. Like I know I know Skye and I've been talking about this a lot off stream, how like Miz adds prestige to a title. It really means a lot to him, and I feel like he should get another push soon because I feel like it's his time. He's been losing to everybody lately, everybody and anybody. It might change at WrestleMania because of what is in the works, from what I'm hearing, and I'll discuss it with Skye after I go over the match. But basically start out with Miz doing getting kind of like taunted a little bit by Dominic and Rey using his quickness and all that and speed and his agility to kind of get the upper hand on Miz. However, Miz was able to use some underhanded tactics to then gain the advantage on Rey Mysterio, and then at that point he started taunting Dominic back, and finally Rey Mysterio was able to counter a move into throwing the Miz onto the ropes, setting up for a 619. That's when Miz rolled out of the ring and tried to grab a chair to use it to his advantage. Dominic saw that. Dominic actually successfully grabbed the chair away from Miz while the ref's back was turned. Miz made a noise with the ring step, making it seem like Dominic hit him with the chair, which should have been an automatic disqualification, but for some reason it wasn't. So the referee ejected Dominic, and Miz, sort of got the upper hand at that moment. Once he got back into the ring, he went for a skull-crushing finale. Well, I think Rey went for another 619 as Miz taunted Dominic as he left. Miz was able to counter that, started to go for a skull-crushing finale, but Rey countered that into a roll-up and got the 1-2-3 and the victory. And so technically Rey and Dominic got the last laugh. Or did they, because of what might happen and was discussed in the backstage segment. But first, let me get your thoughts, Skye, on the match. What did you think about it?
I mean, overall, I thought it was an okay match. I love seeing Miz in the ring, so every single time I see him in a match, I'm always going to get excited about it. As a way to build up, I guess, hype, obviously, for their ongoing feud, and like you were just saying, clearly there's going to be something going on at WrestleMania. He's bringing in a special guest. I don't know if you wanted to tell everybody who it was or who they're thinking it is. But if that's the case, I don't know because I'm tired of him. But it is what it is. Overall, I thought the match was awesome. I did like Miz paying homage to Eddie Guerrero with that with the chair segment and everything. I thought because Eddie Guerrero did that all the time. Yep. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So I really did like that part too.
Yeah. So what Skye's alluding to is that Miz said he's going to bring a special celebrity, tag team partner. So it's most likely going to be Dominic and Rey versus Miz and his celebrity guest partner. And the rumblings, let me know if you heard something differently, Skye, but from the rumblings, it's supposed to be Logan Paul. So yeah. Logan Paul and Miz are going to team up. Now, what I'm hoping is, I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but what I'm hoping is because they usually put the celebrities over, I hope Miz and Logan Paul win at WrestleMania. However, for some reason, I don't think Logan Paul cares if he's put over or not. I think he'll be excited just to be there and be a goofball. So Miz might still end up losing that match. However, Miz has won at WrestleMania before, so I think he has a pretty decent WrestleMania record. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Welcome, Arrington. How are you? Yeah, so I don't know. I really just want to see the Miz elevated into at least the IC title picture. If not that, get him up all the way up there for the WWE title, which is probably not going to be for a while with what's going to happen with that in the future. All right, that brings us to the next match already for the Universal Championship, featuring the Universal Champion Roman Reigns defending against Goldberg, which I thought would be a short match, and it was because it only had about 6 total moves, well maybe 4 total moves, but 3 of them were repeated. Basically, they locked up in the beginning and the test is trend kind of thing. Then Goldberg, I think went for a spear and hit it, but tried to lift up Roman Reigns with a jackhammer. Roman Reigns reversed it and hit a Superman punch. Then Roman Reigns went to the corner, did his hoo-ah thing, went for the spear. Goldberg caught that into another spear, went for the jackhammer again, could not get him up. Roman Reigns turned that into his guillotine choke, held on for the whole time, and basically Goldberg was choked out. And that's the end of that, because I think Goldberg's contract is over. I wasn't expecting a long match, and I was really hoping Goldberg would win. I didn't think Goldberg can get Roman up in the in the jackhammer either. So, I think that should be it for Goldberg. I don't even enjoy these one-offs that they're having. It's kind of stupid. I think it was a waste of a match. But the Saudis like seeing Goldberg. They love Goldberg, so I guess that's why they did that. What did you think, Skye?
I'm glad that you ended that way, because there was something else that I wanted to talk about or discuss and everything, which was the actual crowd. I really enjoyed the crowd. Like, they were hype, more hype than most WWE crowds are. Obviously, like you said, they wanted Goldberg there and everything, so they're very excited to see him come out there. Overall, the match was pretty short, but I did like the fact that Roman won clean. Most of the time, they're always like, is very controversial whenever he wins. Either there was outside, interference or something like that. So to see him go up against Goldberg and there not be any outside interference, it makes him look strong going into WrestleMania. And that's what I like to see. If you're going to be, that top guy and everything, you want to make that character look strong. And there's been a lot of, obviously, controversy surrounding him holding the title based off of the fact that the Usos and everybody else is getting involved. So the fact that he won clean against Goldberg, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It was good that he won cleanly. I just thought it was an unnecessary match. All right. The next match was for the shot at the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. It was the Women's Elimination Chamber match featuring Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Doudrop, the return of Alexa Bliss, and Nikki ASH. And as soon as they came out, I think Will texted me saying, "Oh, they're letting them wear bodysuits. So no longer are the days of the sweatpants and large t-shirts. Now they can wear bodysuits, which is a step up, which is great because some of them had really cool bodysuits to wear. Alexa Bliss actually wore her overalls over her bodysuit, which is a pretty cool look for her. She's back to her princess kind of look, but it's also kind of evil because she did have the swing inside the ring as well for Alexa's Playground. So it's kind of like a mixture of a character, but I think her character is still evolving, and I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, they also did a kind of weird where they had Alexa come out last, even though she was in a pod. Usually, the last two people to come out are the ones that are starting outside. But that actually also happened at the final match, where the biggest name, I guess, came out last, and they were still put into a pod. Anyway, the match started out with, I think, Nikki ASH and Liv Morgan. They pretty much wrestled to a standstill. It was a very good match between the two. Liv Morgan's her stock is rising. I really expected her to win. I predicted since Survivor Series, Liv Morgan would win the Elimination Chamber because she'd be like that Kofi Mania kind of thing, losing, and finally getting her shot in Elimination Chamber and winning Elimination Chamber through all adversity and then going on to WrestleMania and winning at WrestleMania. Did that happen? We'll see in a second, but that's something I predicted back since Survivor Series. Anyway, Nikki ASH and Liv Morgan pretty much wrestled to a standstill or a tie, and then Doudrop was the third person in, and she completely dominated, basically, Nikki ASH. You thought she was going to team up with Nikki ASH, but she did not. She dominated Nikki ASH and Liv Morgan, throwing them both into the chamber wall, whatever you call it, the chains of it, and it was pretty crazy. It was pretty nice to see her looking powerful and what she's capable of. I'm hoping she's a safer version of Nia Jax. Nia Jax is notorious for injuring other wrestlers, so I'm hoping she's got the same Nia Jax character, but she's safer. I'm hoping. I don't know much about her, but she pretty much dominated until Rhea Ripley came to the ring. Rhea Ripley obviously went right after Nikki ASH, as they were former tag team partners, until Nikki ASH turned on Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley threw Nikki ASH across the Elimination Chamber, onto the chains and all that kind of stuff, pretty much destroying her completely, and then hit her for a riptide and got the pin. So Nikki ASH was the first person eliminated. Then Alexa Bliss came to the ring, and she didn't look like she had any sort of ring rush. She completely started dominating, kind of like Doudrop did, not in the same powerful way, but her old, hitting her cartwheel what do you call that thing? It's like the knee drop into the back handspring into the knees again, which I think if she asked Twitter what to name that, I would call it Disney's, like Disknees, Disney's, because she's a big Disney fan, so Disney's would be a really cool name for that move.
Insult to injury.
What? I don't know. Skye said something, but now all right. Anyway.
No, I said it's called insult to injury.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that move was called.
Anyway, we'll call it Disney's because that's a better name, and it goes with Alexa's real character. Because I know Alexa well enough that I'll just message her and tell her that it should be called Disney's. Anyway, she hit Disney's and all that kind of stuff, and then she hit an awesome sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope onto Doudrop, and then pinned Doudrop, eliminating Doudrop, making her the second elimination. Then Bianca Belair came in. Then the two powerhouses, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, pretty much shut off their power and kind of competed against each other against the two smaller women, being Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss, doing pretty much just tandem power moves to the two smaller women, kind of like showing off one, like Bianca Belair was like, when they had both up in suplexes, Rhea Ripley kind of held, I think Alexa it was with one arm, and then while Bianca had Liv Morgan up, she was like kind of marching around kind of thing, so it was a nice competition. But then after they hit their power moves, they kind of went face to face, and I think Ripley slapped Belair. Then they started fighting each other. Morgan came in and hit a double knee what do you call it, code breaker or whatever you want to call it, knee face to the knees, whatever, pair of knees to both their faces. She went to go capitalize off that attack, but Alexa Bliss came from behind her, hit. I forgot what she hit her with. Maybe like a natural selection or something. I don't know what it was. That caused Morgan to get taken down in the corner area. Alexa went to the top rope, hit the Twisted Bliss, and eliminated Liv Morgan, much to my surprise and chagrin, because I thought Liv Morgan would win the whole thing. Then it came down to Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair continued to dominate because Rhea Ripley went for a Riptide, but Bliss countered it into a DDT. Belair, I think, threw or clotheslined Alexa Bliss out of the way, then picked up Rhea Ripley and hit her with a KOD and eliminated her, so left down to Bianca Belair against Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss pretty much hit a lot of moves in succession on Bianca Belair, but that was not enough to take out the EST. I think she hit like another DDT, a somersault DDT, but Belair kicked out of it. Then that caused Alexa to get frustrated, which gave some time to Bianca Belair to pick up Alexa Bliss, hit her the KOD, and win the match. And now she will face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. So what'd you think, Skye, of this match?
I think that they, with the exception of Doudrop and Nikki ASH, they really made all the women look strong. I love that they made Alexa Bliss look strong. There's no ring rust, obviously, and everything, and survived all the way into the end, which was cool. Because I didn't know what angle they were gonna. I didn't think that she would win it, but I really honestly was rooting for Liv Morgan. Because I feel like she's earned it. But they really did a good job making all of them, those four women, look strong. I wasn't a huge fan of Rhea Ripley when she first debuted, mainly because it seemed like they just handed her the title. And I remember we had a conversation about it and everything, and I was just like, I don't know. But I warmed up to her. I really like her. She looks very strong, and she still continues to look strong. So I was very happy with overall this match, honestly.
Yeah, it was a good match. Oh, welcome, Will. I saw you joined while I was doing my review. I like how they made everyone look pretty good. Yeah, like you said, with the exception of Nikki ASH. I still think Doudrop looked pretty good too. She looked pretty dominating at the beginning, but I thought it was a good match overall. They continue to let Liv Morgan look good. Maybe she'll find a way to make it a triple threat match at WrestleMania, possibly. I don't know. And her beating Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch would be crazy. Because I don't think they'll add anyone to the Charlotte Flair Ronda Rousey match, but if they add Liv Morgan to the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match, maybe Liv can pin Bianca and get the win and become the new champion, and then Becky can be like, well, you still have never beaten me, so let me get my shot at it. Oh, welcome, Delisha. There's Delisha. saying hello from Rose and herself. Welcome. Hello, Rose, as well. So yeah, like, I think that would be cool if it's a triple threat and she ends up beating Bianca Belair for the title, and Becky Lynch can then be like, hey, listen, you still haven't beaten me. But yeah, good match overall. That brings us to the next match, which is another women's match. A tag team match featuring Ronda Rousey and Naomi against Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion. And Sonya Deville, Ronda Rousey had to have her one arm tied behind her back because I guess Sonya Deville was in a cast, therefore that's the only way of making the match fair, I guess. That's what it was. Anyway, they tied off Ronda Rousey's arm, and then as soon as that happened, Sonya Deville removed her sling, saying, hey, I wasn't injured. Joke's on you. Then basically, I think Ronda Rousey was still able to counter everything Sonya Deville did, and she asked for Charlotte to come to the ring, so Charlotte, Charlotte came into the ring and then tagged herself back out of the ring. Then Deville went back to the ring, and then Naomi asked for the tag. Naomi got to the ring, started beating up Sonya Deville to get revenge for all the stuff she's been through. And I don't know why she would tag out if she was dominating Deville, but I guess they wanted Rousey back in the ring. So Naomi tagged Rousey back into the ring. Rousey came in and went to lock the armbar in, but Flair came in from behind and hit Ronda Rousey and put her into the post. Then the two women, Deville and Charlotte Flair, pretty much dominated Rousey for the rest of the match. Well, not the rest of the match, for the majority of the match, using, cutting the ring in half and taking advantage of the one-armed Rousey. This pretty much caused Rousey to be dominated by the two, and eventually Rousey was able to slip free and tag Naomi, who put in a great set of moves right when she got tagged in, coming in on the hot tag. She took out pretty much everyone with kicks and stuff, and then she hit a corkscrew dive to the outside onto to Charlotte, and that looked really good. So Naomi looked really good in the few seconds of the match that she was in, or a few minutes of the match she was in. Anyway, as the women got back to the ring, remember Deville was the legal woman, but Flair tried to lock the figure four on Rousey, but that couldn't happen because Deville was the legal woman. She wanted to get back in. Then Rousey grabbed Deville and stared down Flair as she put Deville into the armbar, and instead of helping Deville out and breaking up the submission, she just let Deville take it, and Sonya Deville tapped out, and your winners are Naomi and Ronda Rousey. That was, I guess this is a tune-up match for Rousey. She did spend a lot of time in the ring with a one arm, but I don't know, it was somewhat entertaining. I think of anybody, I think Naomi shined the most in her short time in the ring, but what do you think, Skye?
It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I did like, I love anytime I see Naomi in the ring. I think that she's a great performer, and I feel like they need to give her the spotlight more. Unfortunately, they just don't know how to utilize her properly. So putting in her in dumb feuds and everything like that and stuff with Sonya Deville and all that and everything, it's really not doing her character any justice, and I feel like she should definitely be up there with the A-listers on that card in the main title shot and all that good stuff, because I think that she's an amazing performer. But teaming her up with Ronda Rousey kind of gets Ronda back to used to being in the ring, which is good because obviously she's got her big match coming up at WrestleMania. So it's something and everything. It further adds to the fuel of the match or whatever that's going to be happening between Ronda and Charlotte Flair. So it did its job. Was it an impressive match? No, not really, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it ended Deville and Naomi, so we don't have to see that match at WrestleMania. But maybe they could end it on Raw or SmackDown, whatever brand they're on, and that there, because I don't need to see them anymore. But Naomi did shine, and I'm glad to see her. She'll probably be in like the Mae Young Battle Royal or whatever, and maybe she'll win that. I don't mind seeing Naomi win that. I know no one really liked Naomi, but she did shine this time, so maybe people will start liking her now. All right. That brings us to our next match, which was I think it was a Falls Count Anywhere match between Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss, and now Skye's got it for the rest of the evening. So go ahead, Skye.
Ooh, all right. Happy Corbin attacks Drew as soon as the match starts, and since this was a no DQ match, ref couldn't stop him. Drew quickly recovers, clotheslining Madcap Moss over the out of the ring. Corbin continues to attack Drew when he can, but it only seems to piss Drew off more and more. Corbin hits Drew with a chair shot, allowing Madcap to get the upper hand for a little bit, but this doesn't last long. They make their way back to the ring, and Drew hits him with a superplex off the top rope. Drew covers Matt for a 2 count, but Madcap kicks out. Drew swings Madcap Moss down toward the ring, and he lands right on his head. That was definitely a botch. That it looked like it hurt, and I hope he is okay IRL. But he spiked him on his head, and yeah, that looked painful. But kudos to Corbin, who came in and tried to distract Drew and everything, more or less trying to give Madcap that time to recover and everything. So I love that ring awareness and that veteran move right there. But Corbin comes in and tries to sneak attack Drew, but Drew grabs his sword, swinging it at Corbin. Corbin runs away. One Claymore later, Madcap is flat on his back. 1, 2, 3, and Drew is the winner of this match.
To be honest, I fell asleep during this match. I just saw the part where I think Drew was swinging the sword around. But yeah, this was I was asleep, so I'm assuming it was entertaining. I missed the botch, but now that I hear about the botch, I might have to go back and watch because I love calling out botches. So I probably have to go back and watch this. I wasn't really interested in this match anyway, but I do like Drew McIntyre. I don't know much about Madcap Moss. I know Baron Corbin's a lot about safety, so that's cool that he did that and all that. So, but yeah, I might go back and watch this match from what you're telling me about the botch. But
the way he did it didn't look like it was fake or anything. It looked like he legitimately tried to jump into the ring to draw Drew's attention and everything. But you know why he did it?
Yeah.
I don't think he had any intentions of getting back into the ring at that point. So they had to do something on the fly and everything real quick to protect Madcap and give him time to recover to make sure he was okay. And he was okay enough to get in there and take the Claymore and take the pin. So kudos to Corbin for
being
who he is, because he's always been like that and everything like that in the ring. So kudos to him.
Yeah, seems pretty good, and I feel like there's gonna be a match between Drew and Baron at WrestleMania, for sure. Welcome Tech. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. The next match was for the Raw Women's Championship, featuring the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch defending against Hall of Famer Lita.
Yeah. All right. So Lita starts the match off strong, but Becky soon takes control, going after Lita's neck. Because she had it surgically repaired. After 2 Bexploders, Lita counters with a DDT. Becky and Lita begin trading blows. Lita hits Becky with a high cross body block, followed by a cover, but Becky kicks out. Lita then goes for the twist of fate, but Becky counters, putting Lita in a disarmor. Lita manages to break the hold, but Becky goes for the pin, using the ropes for leverage, but the referee sees this and stops the count. Lita then hits Becky with a twist of fate and a moonsault, but Becky kicks out, surprisingly. Lita then goes after Becky, but Becky counters, hitting her with the manhandle slam, and this match is done. Lita is laid out. Becky covers her. 1, 2, 3. Becky retains her title.
Yeah, this was a really good match. I didn't expect this match to be that good, but Lita really turned back time. Not only did she turn back time, she actually, I was texting you this during the match or whatever, or maybe after the match, she added some new moves to her repertoire, which is nice to see. Her new moveset was pretty cool, with not a lot of moves, but maybe 1 or 2 new moves. So that was pretty cool to see. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think this match was going to be that good because, usually when the Hall of Famers come back for one-offs, it's kind of sloppy and stuff like that, especially because she hasn't really done anything in a long time. So, she also did pay homage to Trish Stratus, right? Because she did that Stratosphere, or whatever you call that move, in the corner where she does that. So maybe that's lining up Trish Stratus to come back. Yeah, see? The reaction, yeah, Will saying they might sign her for more matches. I think it was more of a Jenna reaction than it was a Lita reaction. But yeah, it was still cool. I think, like I said, she deserves it. That she went back into the ring, she felt the emotion and she loved it, and she probably wants to come back after, at least for 1 or 2 more matches. And I wouldn't mind seeing her with Trish again, because that would be a cool match to see. If not match, maybe as a tag team against, they should do like another women's pay-per-view, Women's Evolution, because I think Trish was supposed to be in that, but then they called it off, whatever happened, and she couldn't be in it or whatever it was. Or maybe it was like Alexa that was out of the match. Whatever it was, like I feel like they should have another women's pay-per-view, and that would be cool to watch with Trish being back, because I really miss Trish. I know you were a fan of Trish as well, so seeing Trish against, Charlotte or Becky would be really cool to see, right? Or maybe like a Survivor. You know what would be cool? A Survivor Series match of like 4 Hall of Famers against 4 of the new 4 horsewomen, right? Like if they could, even with a dissension amongst them, having Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley against like Trish, Lita, Beth Phoenix, and or if it's 5 people, you can't really have 4 horsewomen with 5 people. But anyway, maybe like Trish, Lita, the Glamazon, and I was gonna say the both Bellas. We can't really have both Bellas, and they're tweeners. They're not really like that long ago. I don't know. Somebody else like Molly Holly or like not, but not like Molly Holly though. Like someone. I mean, someone from that era, but not Molly Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like someone like that. I can't think of anybody like maybe an Ivory or a Victoria or something like that. Michelle McCool maybe. Someone like that. Michelle McCool would probably be the ideal person to put in there. But yeah, have those 4 women against the 4 horsewomen now. Yeah, I said Victoria too. Yeah, possibly Victoria. But anyway, that would be cool. Oh, or Mickie James even. Mickie James. Yeah, so that like those 4 people against 4 horsewomen now at Survivor Series would be pretty cool to see. I don't know.
I think with because Bayley's supposed to be coming back pretty soon. So if Bayley comes back pretty soon, and they already said that Lita's supposed to be signing on to do a few more matches, maybe that'll set up a feud right there. Because as of right now, I don't think Bayley would really have anybody to feud. I mean, obviously she would come back looking to be in the title picture and everything, but to make her way up there and everything, having to go through Lita might be interesting. And
then maybe her getting beat down by maybe some of the 4 horsewomen. That'd be kind of cool. And then having, like people I said come out. I don't know. Just a thought, WWE. I know you listen to this show, so. The next match, if you can call it a match, was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, featuring the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos against the Viking Raiders. I think their names are. Viking Raiders, yep. And Skye, go ahead.
I was actually looking forward to this match out of all the matches during Elimination Chamber, mainly because I really enjoy the Viking Raiders, and probably biased on that because I've been playing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so anything Vikings I'm all for. And I love the Usos. I know that they're like, they're being shoved down people's throats, and some people don't like them, some people love them. I'm part of that group of people that love them. I love to see, like outside, what they do outside, that's their business, but in the ring they're awesome, and I love to see them perform. Unfortunately, like you said, it wasn't a match. Viking Raiders was coming down to the ring. Usos jumped them, beat the crap out of them to the point where they couldn't continue the match. So, yeah, that was it. And according to backstage and everything, that was supposed to happen. It wasn't something they did at the last minute change because somebody got hurt or whatever the case may be. That's how it was wrote. They always wanted it to go that way. So this wasn't really a match. It was just the Usos doing what the Usos do. And obviously setting up for them to meet each other again at WrestleMania. In which case, hey, more power to them. But, I know a lot of people were disappointed because they really wanted to see this match happen. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. So there you go. That's your match.
Yeah, so if they fight at WrestleMania, that would be cool. And Viking Raiders come up on top, that would be cool. As much as I love the Usos, it would be cool to see the Viking Raiders come up on top at WrestleMania and get their WrestleMania moment. Will saying it's canceled due to the repeated promos. I don't understand what that means. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they didn't have this match because I was telling Skye after it happened, let's see timing. That makes no sense. You know why? Because
there are no men like me. Only me.
Oh, thank you for the sub, Anna. Welcome, Anna, over on Twitch. The thing I don't understand is the Saudi pay-per-views are usually longer than 4 hours. This pay-per-view lasted fewer than 3 hours, so they had plenty of time. I don't know why they didn't do it. They should have done it because this would have been, like Skye was saying, this is the match she's looking forward to. I always love watching the Usos wrestle, so this would have been a good match. But if Skye's saying that saving to the WrestleMania, that would be cool to see because they can have the Viking Raiders get their moment. at WrestleMania finally, instead of being in a joke match that they had like last year or 2 years ago. I think there's a WrestleMania with like against like or ninjas showed up and it was ninjas versus the Street Raiders or whatever it came out to be, Viking Prophets or whatever it was. Like it was like so stupid. At least let them have a legit match and that'd be cool.
Somebody was saying that they the reason they did it this way was because they didn't really build up a feud between the Viking Raiders and the Usos. They wanted it to actually the match to mean something because they do plan on giving the Viking Raiders the titles, but they felt like they shouldn't give it to them that way. They wanted to give it to them through like basically leading up to WrestleMania, them just like going to war with each other, and then they actually go and have this match and the Viking Raiders win clean in the ring. So I don't know. Like I said, that's just a rumor. I'm not saying that it's true or not and everything, but a lot of people are feeling like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know the Arrington, those Street Profits, but remember when they combined forces, they were called like the Street Raiders or the Viking Prophets when they combined forces against the Ninjas at the WrestleMania match. That's why I was saying they were that name. All right, that brought us to the main event of the evening for the WWE Championship. In an elimination being defended for only second time? Maybe Will could fact check it or whatever. Maybe only the second time or third time. In the Elimination Chamber, featuring Austin Theory, AJ Styles, your WWE Champion Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, because I refuse to call him Seth freaking Rollins, even though I just said it there, and Matt Riddle. And this is the main event. Skye, go ahead.
Seth freaking Rollins and Austin Theory start the match off. I know you hate that count. There is a lot of back and forth between the two until things take a turn for the worse. Rollins buckle bombs Theory into Bobby Lashley's pod, striking Lashley and knocking him senseless. Riddle is then the third man into the match, and he immediately goes after Rollins and Theory. Medical personnel show up and attend to Bobby, escorting him out of the ring to backstage. Styles the next man in and goes after everyone. There's a lot of back and forth between all of them until Riddle gets the upper hand and seems to be setting them up for the old RKO. And the announcer states that Bobby Lashley would not be returning due to a concussion protocol, which means that whoever won the match would be the new champion. Next person was supposed to be Bobby, but since that wasn't the case, Brock was just left standing there waiting, or so we thought. Brock kicks his way out of the pod. I don't know if he was supposed to do that, but he kicks his way out of the pod and begins laying waste to everybody in the ring. There was like no chance. It was like, yeah, F5 just everywhere. Just bombs dropping. Brock wasted no time eliminating Seth Rollins, AJ, and Riddle. Last man standing was Theory, who tried his best to run away from Brock. Brock caught up with him, and Theory hit him with a low blow, followed by a DDT and went for the cover. Brock kicks out quickly, regains his momentum. Theory tries to escape the chamber by climbing as high as he could, but to no avail. Brock quickly caught up to him and killed him. I'm just joking. He did not. He F5'd him off from the top of the pod. Theory is pinned. 1, 2, 3. Brock is your new WWE champion. It wasn't a surprise, anybody. It wasn't a surprise. It did not surprise me. Cal, what about you? How did you feel, man?
No, it did not surprise me. I was surprised that Bobby Lashley, I don't know if it was a spot or not, but like saying like, I never lost, so, but unfortunately I think he was injured for real. So
yeah, he was injured for real.
So that sucks. I wonder how it would have came out with him being. I don't think it would have ended as quickly with. I think it would have been a good back and forth between himself and Brock at the end as the last two men. But unfortunately, he was injured and now he's out for like 4 months or something, which kind of really sucks. He's gonna lose his WrestleMania chance, which is unfortunate. But I loved the rest of the match. And the Brock spot was not planned. Vince McMahon was actually furious, but what can he do to Brock? Because Brock is his cash cow. So that was not a planned spot, and Brock just kicked it down and then decimated everybody, which is great to see. I love seeing Brock dominate, because that's what he should do. He's a beast, right? He's always built as the beast, and he doesn't care about anything. So I loved seeing that. That was awesome. Like, I know people hate on Brock. They talk all this stuff about Brock. I just love seeing Brock as champion. I love seeing Brock in the ring. Would I rather see someone else as a champion and win the match? Would I love to have seen Bobby Lashley hold on to it? Yes. Would I have loved to see AJ Styles win? Yes. But if it had to be anybody else, I'm glad it's Brock Lesnar, and I love how he did it by just taking everything into his own hands, not even following the script, just kicking down the damn door, going in and just destroying everybody. Like, that was amazing to see, because that's what he should do. He said he was going to go in to WrestleMania as the WWE champion, and he did it. I don't know. I just loved it. I just hate how, like, when I think Eric Bischoff first designed the Elimination Chamber, I don't know if he actually literally designed it or not, but when he was talking about the Elimination Chamber, he was, like, saying how, like, it's, like, indestructible, like, bulletproof glass and all that kind of stuff. We've seen it broken on numerous occasions, whether it be by Spear, by Goldberg, Braun Strowman just, like, looking at it, or, you know, obviously Brock Lesnar kicking it down, Seth Rollins' buckle bomb, like, you know, it's just, let's get rid of that, like, image of it being indestructible, because now everyone destroys it. So I'm glad it can be destroyed, because that was really cool how Brock Lesnar just said, screw the script, I'm coming in, which I think was a good call, because with Bobby Lashley being injured, it kind of made it a lot cooler, because the fans popped when that happened too. So I think, as much as Vince McMahon hates when people go off script and do stuff, I think he had to, like, besides it being Brock Lesnar, I think it really did bring a little awesome moment to the match. That was really cool. And then him just destroying everybody was awesome. The F5 to Austin Theory was awesome. I'm glad to see him as champion. And now it's going to be, you know, pending anything happening, it's going to be champion versus champion at WrestleMania. Winner take all, much like how when Becky Two Belts was born back at WrestleMania, whatever that was, in New York, New Jersey. I'll just say New Jersey because it's actually in New Jersey. I really, as much as I love Brock Lesnar, I really, 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 really hope Roman Reigns wins it. Because I think it would be a nice thank you to Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns undoubtedly carried, you know, the roster pretty much. I know Drew McIntyre did it during the first half of COVID, through the pandemic. Roman Reigns is there mirroring him on the SmackDown side, right? And then Bobby Lashley did it for Raw on the first half of the second half of COVID, basically. But Roman Reigns is there the entire time on SmackDown, right? So I feel like Roman Reigns definitely carried pretty much WWE on his shoulders the entire COVID, the last 2 years or so. I think it's a really good thank you to him. And as much as he's not liked by a lot of people, or wasn't liked before, now he's liked as his new character, I think that would be a very good thank you for him. And Brock Lesnar, you know, as much as I love seeing Brock Lesnar as champion, I don't think he'd be a good 2-belt champion, because he only shows up like 1 day a month. So if you're holding both belts, I don't think that would be a good idea to put 2 belts on him for each show, and him only showing up 1 day a month kind of thing. I know he shows up more than 1 day, but, like, I don't think it's a good look for WWE. So if Roman Reigns, I could see the Usos losing at WrestleMania, and then Roman Reigns being, you know, really upset about it, saying we're losing all our gold, and then he brings back 2 belts with him. That would be really cool. And maybe having a backstage segment with The Rock back there, saying, like, you know, good luck, champ, you know, you're gonna need it against Brock, he's a beast. And then Roman, like, talking crap back to him, saying, like, I don't need luck, I'm the best there ever's been. You know, I am the one, and it'll be time for you to soon acknowledge me. And The Rock then, like, looks at him, and then looks at the camera kind of thing, and setting up a future match maybe. That could all happen, and that'd be really cool, especially if he won both titles. I really think he deserves it, and you know, but congratulations to Brock for winning this match. But I really, really hope Roman Reigns wins at WrestleMania. What do you think about where it's going from here, Skye?
Well, going back to the match itself, a lot of people backstage were pretty upset with what Brock did, mainly because of the fact that everything was supposed to be planned out in a certain way. Mainly, it's going to be a lot of close calls and everything, showing highlight to Seth Rollins, Riddle, and AJ Styles and everything. But all of that, it was always planned that Brock was going to get the belt and everything, because, of course, they were setting up for title versus title. And, of course, obviously, they wanted Brock to be the one holding the WWE Championship. which is fine and everything, but it was supposed to be once he was let out, then he comes out and F5s everybody. But there was supposed to be a lot of close calls, highlighting everybody and showing how strong they were and everything against each other. Then Brock comes in and, decimates everybody and boom, goes on to win the title and everything. But because of his preemptive strike and everything like that, everything got messed up. So I know the more noticeable one was Seth Rollins. He was extremely upset with it and everything, mainly because he's so over with the crowd right now. Just with his whole gimmick, the visionary, all that good stuff and everything. Everybody loves him and everything. And this was going to be like one of those close call kind of things where, oh my God, Seth could, actually get this and everything. And then lo and behold, here comes Brock and, dashes everybody's dreams away and everything. But so Seth was pretty upset with it. And of course they're upset because, like you were just saying, Brock can do whatever he wants because he's Brock and everything. So if he wants to mess up the match and do what he wants to do, then he can do it and he'll get away with it. There's not going to be any punishments or repercussions for what he does. And so that's how the morale with the people who competed in the match and everything was so low, because they was just like, well, if he can do whatever he wants, like, what's the point of even having rules and everything? But going on to the future, yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like Roman has definitely deserved this. He has carried the company on his back for a very long time, doing a great job. I am so glad that they redesigned his character and brought him back as a heel, because it's the best thing they could have ever done for his career and for the WWE Universe, because he's been doing a phenomenal job. Has he been holding it for far too long? I would say, yeah. It is time for somebody else to step up and, be the champion. But for as long as he's been carrying it, he's been that character that you love to hate and everything. You have to acknowledge him. And that's the whole thing, is that, yeah, you could talk all the crap you want about Roman Reigns and everything, about his movesets and his mic skills and all that stuff, but, he's still holding on to the belt and everything. You have no choice but to acknowledge him, because he still is that guy. Regardless of how he still has the belt, he still has it and everything. So I really love that gimmick, and I do hope that he beats Brock at WrestleMania. Congratulations, of course, to Brock for having the belt and everything, or getting the belt and stuff. But it's going to be a tough battle for him. I don't know how he's going to pull this one out. You've seen Roman Reigns go up against some big opponents. I remember back when he was going up against Braun Strowman, and it seemed like they was having a fight every week and everything. And Braun is a big dude and everything, so he's used to fighting big guys and everything. And I don't know if he ever won. Did he ever beat Braun Strowman? I'm trying to think. Did he ever win a match against him?
I mean, I don't think he lost. I think he might have won, but not like cleanly. Because he's still champion, right? So Braun's not champion, so Braun's not even in the league.
I couldn't remember. Will probably knows, but yeah. Overall, yeah, I agree with you. I do hope that he beats Brock and gets the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be a good thing for him, because I don't really see Brock sticking around, week after week after week, showing up thing. And I've been saying it forever. Even when Brock's been champion, just the single champion on one thing, I don't mind that. But if he holds two belts, that's taking up time on two shows, right? Taking away from another superstar, or at least two superstars, if you think about it. In that case, holding two belts. Maybe, yeah, even four superstars if you look at it as their opponents as well. If he
would make no sense.
Yeah,
I mean, there are some workhorses in WWE right now. People that are showing up every week, doing house shows, all that stuff and everything, that deserve, to have that title around them. And to have Brock show up out of nowhere and have both belts, I think would just be a slap in the face to everybody in the locker room,
right?
Who's working hard.
But the only thing that we could, I could see why it happens. Two reasons. One is because Vince McMahon's a businessman, and he doesn't care about the business. The business, as in, like, the fans, the storyline fans, right? And who deserves it. He cares about making the money. And Brock Lesnar makes that money for him. That's one reason. The second reason is, God forbid, another... COVID is sort of dying down right now. If there's another strain, right, and there's a huge outbreak, we already know that Roman Reigns is immunocompromised. Therefore, it might not be safe for him to have the belts and be on both shows and travel so much. So, I don't know. I hate when they unify titles. I hate... they could do that, entertained. I hate that, but I hate when they do that. Because then eventually, a few years down the road, they're going to make two belts again, right? They always make an Undisputed Championship, and the Undisputed Championship then becomes two different belts again. Like, it's just stupid. I hate when they do that. Because I feel like it takes away from another wrestler, or another two wrestlers. Each belt I always think of it as two people because you have the champion and then you have the challenger. And sometimes, it might be a triple threat, fatal four-way, whatever. But at least most cases, a championship belt consists of two people, a champion and a challenger. So if you consolidate two belts into one, you're losing out on four people in that case. Well, three people, because one person will still be champion regardless. But you're losing out on three other people. It affects four people totally, but three are screwed out of it, kind of, in a way. Or maybe two, because one's still a challenger. Whatever it is, I just hate when they do that. I like the brand split. I like when there's two belts for each thing. I always like that because I felt it gave opportunity to people who didn't normally get opportunities. Would we have seen people like Zack Ryder, and Cody Rhodes as the IC and US champion at the time if there weren't two belts? Probably not. Stuff like that where people are not getting, if they have two brands, I feel like it's so much better because, or brand split pay-per-views or whatever, people who don't normally get opportunities are getting opportunities because they're on their own show, and their own show has their own pay-per-view and their own championships. And all these people being fired and leaving and going to another company because they're not getting opportunity, like they're getting disgruntled. So I feel like if you split up the belts, keep the belts separate, you give more opportunity to more people. The fewer the belts, the fewer the opportunities. So I hate when they do these unification matches, or I liked it in Becky's case, because in Becky's case, there were still two titles. They didn't make the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles into one single undisputed championship. That was great because she could lose one and then lose the other, and that was fine, and then they kept it separate. I hope they stay like that for this championship. I hope they don't make it into undisputed championship, because then we're losing out on one or two wrestlers getting a spotlight. What are your thoughts, Skye? Because Entertainer was saying they might consolidate it and all that. What do you think?
I agree with you. I don't. I think the reason they didn't with in Becky's case is because they couldn't afford to. That would be they don't have many titles for the women. They don't have Intercontinental Championship for women. They should, or U.S. titles for women. So taking two of those belts, consolidating into one, would have just been a huge step down for a division that's already struggling pretty badly. But yeah, I do not want them to combine those titles. That would just be a dumb move on them. So I agree with you. I don't think Vince is going to do that. If he does, that it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah. If you look at it, that's a good point, Entertainer. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but yeah, it's a good point, because if you think about all the challengers Roman had throughout his time as champion, when he's still champion, there were a lot of challengers, so it did give a lot of people opportunities. I know he did fight like a few people several times, but for the most part, he fought a lot of different people, so that was cool. Like Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Seth Rollins, whoever else. He fought a lot of different people multiple times. Or
some. Who he hasn't fought though?
Who?
Cody Rhodes.
Oh yeah. So, oh my God, if Cody Rhodes came in and won, I don't think that would happen, but I hope it doesn't. But look at all the guys you see in the picture right here. Any of them can be a champion, right? Anytime. Like, they're all caliber, maybe except for Austin Theory and Matt Riddle, because they're relatively new speaking. But a lot of these people here are championship worthy. So if you take away a whole title belt, you're taking away a title shot also. So I agree that I think they should keep it two belts. And if anything, Biggie, yeah. So I think if anything, you can't only think of the people who fought. That's a good point. Entertained. You can't only think of the people that Roman fought. You got to think about the people who, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Biggie, all those people fought, because remember, there's two titles. So if there's two titles, there's two different challengers, one on each brand. So think about all the people who got opportunities. Thank you, Otero, welcome, or Art Sensei, whatever you want to be referred to as Otero or Art Sensei, welcome, thank you. Yep, check it out. It wasn't that good. We're about to do our final reviews of the pay-per-view, but there were some good moments. But I think if they do actually unify the belts, it's gonna be a terrible idea. So if the WWE and Vince McMahon steal anything else from this ideas from this show, it should be that they should not unify the titles. So listen to that now. All right, that brings us to our finishers. So I'm going to let Skye go first. Skye, what is your low point, your high point, and your overall grade for the evening?
Low point, obviously, Usos versus Viking Raiders. Like I said, that was my highly anticipated match of the night. So the fact that it didn't happen, I was just very disappointed. So that's my low point. A high point is going to be the women's elimination chamber. I really enjoyed it. I think out of all the females in there, the only one that was, I guess I was just like not really expecting to do anything. Nikki ASH and everything, she didn't do anything, so I was expected. Everybody else had really good spots. I really enjoyed it. Overall, I would give this a strong C.
Yeah, so we're pretty much on the same thing. My low point was obviously also the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match because there was no match. I like the Viking Raiders. I like the Usos, so it's kind of a shame that we didn't get to see that. High point, though, as much as I love the women's elimination chamber match, I'm glad to give it to Brock Lesnar just going off script and breaking the chamber and coming in and destroying everybody because I love Brock Lesnar, so that was great. That was great to see. And actually, Brock Lesnar also breaking not character, but breaking his own barriers. Like, Brock Lesnar's not a people person, but he jumped into the audience to celebrate with the Saudi fans. Maybe because they each paid him $1 million. Who knows? But that's something he doesn't do. He went on the Austin show and says he likes to be in his gated house, away from anybody. He doesn't like to acknowledge anybody. He likes to be a sole person. So the fact that he jumped into two different times into the audience, that was kind of, not only did he break the glass, break the script, he broke his own rules and character to celebrate the fans. So that was kind of cool to see Brock Lesnar come out of his shell a little bit. The only other time I seen him like that was when he had that segment that I talked to you about before, was the R-Truth segment, which he was cracking up to himself. That was a great segment. So it's nice to see him do stuff like that because this business did make him what he is. Even though he was a collegiate champion and all that and stuff, and he ended up going to the UFC, but the name he brought, his WWE character to the UFC, had success there, then came back. It's the WWE fans that really, elevated his character in a way. And I think as he grew older, he kind of got somewhat more humble. I mean, I know he's not really humble, but more so than when he was young. And he said, "F you to the business." So
the same thing that happened with Randy Orton. Remember how he was when he first started.
Mm-hmm.
But Brock has been doing that since he came back to challenge Roman and everything, taking selfies and everything with the fans.
Oh, okay.
He did one or two times, I should say, and everything, more or less after the show, and then they would post it, on social media and stuff like that. So he's been. It's surprising to me, like you just said, and everything that's never been Brock and everything, to see him come back in his little cowboy persona or whatever it is that he's doing right now. And having fun with it and everything, because Brock is, like you said, he's the beast. He comes into the ring and he just smashes everybody, and that's it and everything. Now he's having more fun with it. He's smiling, he's laughing, making jokes, all that stuff. I like the angle because he's still sort of a heel, but not really, and everything. He's I don't know, he's somewhere in the middle, and I like that. For Brock, I like that for his character because he doesn't need Paul Heyman on his shoulder speaking for him and all that stuff and everything. He's talking, by himself and everything, and he's having fun with it. And I really enjoy this. I enjoy this new Brock.
He's like an anti-hero, like the Punisher. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
He's or Venom. He's kind of like that when you talk about comics. But I think someone who could actually really help him with this would be someone like Kurt Angle, right? They both have very similar backgrounds, except Kurt Angle went to the Olympic level. They have very similar backgrounds. Even someone like Shelton Benjamin as well, who had the same wrestling background. They actually are teammates in Minnesota. So they have, I think, but obviously Shelton and Kurt Angle are much better. Kurt Angle more so are much better on the mic than Brock Lesnar is. So I feel like they can kind of bring, and I think he's pretty much good friends with Shelton Benjamin, probably with Kurt Angle as well. So I think they could probably get something out of Brock to make him, if he cared enough. I don't know if he does care enough, but if he did care enough, those are two people that he can look to. And I know he's good friends with The Undertaker, Austin, stuff like that. So those people might also be able to get something out of him. But I believe she says the best when she talks about Randy Orton. When Randy Orton cares, he does put up a good match, and he does show really good, he's always been charismatic, but he and did good promos. But when he cares about the match, he puts on a good match. And Brock Lesnar I could learn from Randy Orton as well. Like the same brash young attitude, cocky and all that. But Randy Orton grew up, so Brock Lesnar's on his way growing up eventually. But I think he can learn from some of those people who came before him or are still there that have worked on their own character and stuff like that, and pretty much given back to the business for making them the big names that they are today. And I think Brock Lesnar could benefit from that. Will it happen? Probably not. But, hey, that'd be cool to see. All right, so that has been Elimination. Oh, did I get my grade? Yeah, I gave it a C as well. It was not that good of a pay-per-view. Like I said, I fell asleep 4 or 5 times during it. I was really kind of bored. I think most of the times I fell asleep were during the Madcap match. I fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep, woke up. Because I did go to school at like 2 a.m. that day, so. Yeah, but I could probably give it a C, C-. It wasn't that good. This kind of reminds me of the Fastlane that I gave an F. That was the Fastlane right before WrestleMania. It's kind of like that, but this was just a little bit worse. Did it set up much for WrestleMania? Maybe not, but it did its job, sort of. But with that said, I want to go ahead and thank Skye for being here. Skye, where can we find you, and do you have any other announcements or anything to make?
You can find me on Twitter at MoonKnight1111. You can also find me on the YouTubes at Skye Inc. I don't think I have any announcements. Wait, nope, no announcements. Thank you for inviting me.
Yep, thank you for coming. Yep, all his information is down in the description below, his Twitter as well as his YouTube. The next time you'll see me here on AfterMat, I'll also be alongside Delisha and maybe another special guest. We'll see, because it will be for Wrestlemania. Wrestlemania is a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday, April 2nd to April 3rd. So AfterMat will be that Monday, April 4th. Probably, as long as it's okay with Delisha and our special guest, we might start at 6 p.m. because remember, it's going to be like 47 matches because it's a 2-night event. So because it's 47 matches, we'll probably start at 6 p.m. to make sure we can get done in a reasonable hour. To cover all that stuff, as long as we can have everyone agree to that. And then AfterMat Awards are about 2 months away. Remember, a few weeks after WrestleMania, the season finale of AfterMat, season 5 finale, is the WrestleMania episode. After that, we'll have the AfterMat season 5 special, which is the AfterMat Awards. So we'll probably see some of our familiar faces back here for that to help present some awards. I'll run some ideas by Delisha, see if we're going to do that. I know some of you guys gave us ideas last year for some awards that we're going to incorporate this year, which is pretty cool because we got rid of some of our awards that were won every year by The Fiend, which can't be won by The Fiend anymore because he's not there anymore. But it doesn't matter because no one else has cool entrances now that The Undertaker and The Fiend are gone. That's to look around the corner. But in the more recent future, or near future, I should say, we're going to have, you'll see me here on Kingslayer Network doing some Horizon Zero Dawn every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, unless it's preempted by AfterMat, which it won't be until April 4th. So until then, guys, keep slamming the haters and be the champion of your dreams. We'll see you next time.
No problem. Okay.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. turns to sun rays, and